Hello guys, welcome to Mahendra's YouTube channel. This is Raghavender here in front of you to give a classic introduction to hashtag number 2 trending technology in IT sector, that is data science. So nowadays, wherever you go, you're hearing a word called data science. So this video is meant for all those users who want to know what exactly is data science and what can you expect from data science. So what all we are going to discuss in this video are, so firstly, we are going to coin the term data. Then we are going to see what is big data, why do we need the data science, what is data science, and why is it trending now, and what can you expect from data science. So speaking about all these questions and answering these questions is the main aim of this video. So without further delay, let us enter into today's content. Now, what is data? Data can be simply defined as raw facts with implicit meaning. So it could be better if I'd give an example, right? So this is an example. So there are some words: is, data, session, this, science, and a. So each and every word has its implicit meaning. So coming to science, it is some noun, a is an article, this is some other thing, and data is some other thing. So each and everything has its internal meaning, but when I put all together, there is no meaning, right? So when there is no meaning, there is no point of using my data. So therefore, to use my data, I need to process the data. Then after processing my data, that data will get some explicit meaning, and that forms to be my another term that is nothing but information. So information is data that is processed. Not only every processed data becomes information, but that processed data should have some explicit meaning, and then that forms an information. So from the previous slide, if I process all those words, I can get a meaningful sentence that is this a data science session? Fine. So here, this is having an explicit meaning. So nowadays, people are using the term data and information interchangeably, but there is a huge difference between data and information, which has been discussed. So learning what is data and information, moving forward, the next thing is what forms big data. So nowadays, we are listening a word that is nothing but big data analytics, and etc. So to explain big data, let me consider some time series data. So consider me as a person who is capturing image of the sea waves every second. So that I can say based upon the temperature, what will be the length of the waves. Okay. So my job is to capture the image for every second. So for a minute, I'm having 60 images. For an hour, I'm having 16 to 60 images. And for a day, I'm having 24 into 16 to 60 images. So if I want to prepare a data set for a week, that becomes 7 into 24 into 60 into 60 images. That is 7 days, 24 hours, 60 minutes, 60 seconds. Fine. So having this much of data is not normal. So the data is very huge. The variety of data is high, and the rate of producing data is high, and having these three principles to some data set forms big data. So big data is nothing but that is the data which follows the principles of 3 V's. What are these 3 V's now? So the first V is variety. What is this variety now? So it's not that every time I will bring my data as images. So I can say that the length of my wave as into a number, or I can give a text that the length of wave is this thing, and I can bring a video of flowing wave and many things. So the variety of images or the variety of data will be more, and if the volume of data is more by generating the data at a greater velocity, then that forms your big data. So this is the best definition that can be given to big data. Fine. So after knowing what is big data, now it's turn to see why we need data science. So this is one of the major questions to be discussed. So to answer this question, I want to say a point that is, we live in a world that's full of data. So how can I say that's full of data? So consider the Instagram page. So number of users are increasing, and the number of posts which they are uploading are increasing. The number of likes to that image is increasing, and the comments are increasing. Many things are increasing. Fine. So as these things are increasing, everything forms my data, and the amount of data that is storing in the database is going on increasing. As the data is increasing, there is a term that is formed, that is big data. That was already clear. Now, why am I storing this data? So I'm storing the data so that I can bring out some best decisions I can make ever from that data. So to bring out the best decisions and make my company to get profit, I should have some technology that will analyze my data and get the best insights for my decision making. So that technology is namely data science, and this is the reason why we need data science. Fine. So the question is very clear, why we need data science, and the answer is also clear enough. Now, after seeing why we need data science, now it's time to see what is data science. So many persons or many sites give many definitions, and they tried to define data science to a complete extent, but it was not possible by anyone. But even this definition will define data science to a certain extent. So data science is field of applying analytics and scientific principles to extract valuable information from data for decision making. So what are these analytic techniques now? So analytic techniques include mathematics, statistics, and some machine learning techniques and other things to extract the valuable information. So here data science is going to use analytics. Analytics is going to use statistics. Therefore, my data science will be using statistics. So I'm going to use that mathematics and statistic principles to extract the valuable information from my data for decision making. So to better explain this, so let me consider a real life scenario. So consider that I'm an owner of a medical shop, or I'm an owner of a medicine producing company. So in the previous days, the amount of consuming of paracetamol and dolo was equal. Therefore, I'm going to produce equal amount of medicines. But nowadays, the amount of consuming of dolo 650 has been increased to some extent, and the amount of consuming the paracetamol has decreased. So now, as being a consumer or as being a producer of medicines, in this case also, I cannot produce equal amount of medicines. So if I produce both 50-50 of Dodo 650 and this paracetamol, then there may be a loss of not buying paracetamol, and there may be a loss of not getting full profit. So what I'll do, I'll put a data set where how many persons are buying the Dodo 650 and how many persons are buying paracetamol. Fine. Then I will analyze, I'll put the statistics. And my statistic says that the amount of consuming of this Dolo 650 is being increased by some 50%, and this thing has been decreased. So then I'll get to know that 75% of people are using Dolo 650 and 25% are using paracetamol. So now what I'll do, I'll increase the producing of Dolo 650 and I'll reduce the producing of paracetamol so that I can gain more profit on this Dolo 650, and I'll not even lose the profit from paracetamol. So the best decision which I have made is to increase the production of Dolo 650 and decrease the production of something called as paracetamol. So now what I did, I kept my data set, I extracted the valuable information, I gave some decisions. So this is simply nothing but your data science. So is it clear? I think till now, what is data science is clear. Now the question arises is why now? Why we need data science now? So we can even use it in the past also, right? So the answer is technology itself. Nowadays, the technology is increasing. As the technology is increasing, the number of users are increasing. So when the users are increasing, the memory and the bandwidth of data is being increased day by day. And this was not scenario in the past. So in the past, the company used to have the data and they used to analyze it and they can do something, whatever they need. But when you see in the present scenario, wherever you see, there is data. So whenever there is data everywhere, by analyzing it, I can get more and more information. Fine. So therefore, in the present scenario, as the technology is increasing or the technology is getting advanced, the users are being increased and the data is being increased. From the increased data, I can get more information. So getting that more information, I can make out my decisions. So that is the reason why we are getting into data science now. So after knowing all these things, now the interesting question is, what can you expect from data science? That is the jobs. What jobs can you expect? So these are some of the jobs which you can expect from data science. The first one is data scientist and second one is data analyst. So in many of the times, these both can be used interchangeably. But the major difference is, so first I'll say the similarity between both of these. So both will analyze the data and give the insights. There is no doubt in that. But data scientist, so a data scientist is going to make advanced tools, or he's going to write some other algorithms. As the name suggests, he's a scientist. He's going to prepare some other advanced algorithms, and he's going to use his own algorithms to get the insights. Whereas analyst is going to use the existing data and the existing techniques and get the insights. So this is the difference between scientist and analyst. Coming to data engineer, so the duty of engineer is to turn the data to be used by the analyst and scientist. That is, the data will be in some other format and every person cannot use it. So the duty of engineer is to convert that data to a usable format so that the data scientist can use it. Data architecture person or data architect also does the same thing, but additionally, he creates the databases which meets the requirements. Now comes the interesting job of data science, that is data storyteller. Now, what's the storytelling job? So storytelling is often referred as data visualization. So the difference between data visualization and storytelling is, so in visualization, we visualize the data and make the reports. But in storytelling, additional to these things, we will also find a narrative person or narrative story that will best describe my data. In visualization, I can see only the statistics or the graphs and etc. But here what I can say, I can find the best thing or the best way so that I can describe my data in the best way. So this is an interesting job of data science. So learning data science, you can know all these things. Now comes to what all things should be there in your profile to apply for a data science job. So any degree from the BTech or anything, adding with that, you must know the mathematics and the statistics. Giving machine learning and analytics makes your resume more heavier, and you must have a good presentation skills and data visualization. So having all these things can increase the weight of your resume. So I think the questions are very clear and the answers are also very clear. So hope to meet you in the next session. Thank you. Have a good day.